Alright, let's go. First step, prime and moisturize my face. Then 1 blue contact for Harley and 1 green for the Joker. You want to see a magic trick? I'm gonna make my eyebrow disappear. Okay, so that's really the wrong Joker, but it's still kind of relevant, okay guys? Come on. So, to make your eyebrow disappear, grab a glue stick, doesn't matter what kind, and apply a thin-ish layer right across your eyebrow that you want to disappear. I promise this will come right out and wash off, so don't stress, you will still have 2 eyebrows. Now, while that dries a little, I'm going to go ahead and fill in my Harley brow. Now back to our disappearing brow. You can go ahead and set that with a little bit of powder right on top of that glue. Then you want to repeat the process, do another thin layer of glue, set that with powder, another thin layer, set with powder, until your brow kind of merges in with your skin, kind of blends in. I think it took me about 3 or 4 rounds. Then use concealer to cover up the rest of that glue stick purple color. Now 1 more layer of powder and your eyebrow should be pretty much gone. So for the Joker's eyeshadow, this is a very meticulous look, so make sure you pay attention. I'm going to call it the darkest smoky eye you've ever done that you then slept in for about 100 days straight. So make sure you get that effect. Then to make sure you don't have any harsh lines, you want to take a blending brush and just blend that right out to give yourself a more natural and realistic smoky eye. I'm just kidding. You can skip the blending if you want. Either way, you're gonna look crazy. Next, I'm gonna line my waterline using a red lip liner. Then apply a line of eyeliner right across my upper lid and then right below my bottom waterline. Then I'm going to smudge out that eyeliner using my finger and a brush until I'm satisfied with the fact that I look like a crazy, sleep-deprived raccoon. Now on to contour. I'm going to start off with just my contour palette and a couple eyeshadow brushes and just go ahead and sketch on his basic facial features right on top of mine. Right now I'm not worried about blending or color or making everything look natural and realistic. Right now I'm okay with these harsh lines because we're just going to sketch on his features, mostly being concerned with his cheekbones, around his mouth and nose, his nose contour, and then his forehead. And then we're going to come back in just a minute or two with some more brushes, some more colors, and work on blending all of this out. Now to work on blending out those contours. Right now I'm just taking a clean brush with no product on it and just kind of buffing out those areas, and then we're going to come back with some product and blend them in. So at this point I had the great, and when I say great I'm being very sarcastic, the great idea to add some black eyeshadow to my contour to give my skin this really dull, aged effect. And then my black eyeshadow went on really dark and I realized that black was a lot harder to blend out than natural skin colors like browns are. So yeah, here's me making that mistake and advising you not to do the same. So it was probably about here that I realized that this was a huge mistake on my part because it was not blending at all. However, I left it in here because I wanted you guys to see that even if you make a huge mistake while doing your look, even if you try something and it ends up being a flop, most of the time you can fix it just by trying a little bit harder, blending a little bit more, adding more colors, etc. And that's exactly what I did here. I went back and added some more warm contours to tone out that harsh black. I added lots of transitional shades to help merge between my skin and the heavy contour. And I just kept blending and blending and working on it until I was pretty happy with the end result. Could it have been better? Of course. Everything can always be a little bit better. But if you just keep working on it, you can normally figure out a solution to these little problems and hiccups that you come across while doing makeup. So taking a break from contour, I lined my lips with just my regular eyeliner. And I lined outside of my lips because I wanted to create that big Joker mouth effect. Then still with the same eyeliner, I went in and drew kind of wrinkles around my brow and then shaded under my brow to make it look a little bit more distinguished and a little bit darker around my eye. Then I filled in those Joker lips with a red liquid lipstick. Now I'm just going to draw a line across my forehead simply because he had one, and then get to work drawing the J tattoo he has under his left eye. Now this is a little challenging doing it in a mirror, so if you have someone around who can do it for you, I would definitely recommend that just to make life a little bit easier on you. Still with my eyeliner, I decided to accentuate my mouth and my cupid's bow, as well as redraw the contour around my cheekbones. Then with a flat eyeshadow brush and some brown contour, I just retraced that new cheekbone and then blended it out to look more natural. Now on to Harley. So to begin Harley's look, I'm going to start out by applying pink eyeshadow to my eyelid. I'm going to end up using two different shades on my eyelid because the first pink that I chose was a little too bright in my opinion, so then I went back and applied more of a reddish pink right on top of that, and I was happy with those combined colors. But you can use whatever shade of pink you like best for Harley. Then using my finger, I'm going to swipe across my eyelid and drag down to start creating that messy effect. I'm also going to apply some pink below my bottom waterline and drag that out to continue the messiness. Now with a very thin brush, like an eyeliner brush, I'm going to dip into a lot of pink pigment, get a good bit on there, and then draw these kind of curved descending lines from the outer corner of my eye to replicate Harley's. Then with a little pink pigment on my fingers, I'm just going to dab at those lines to make them less structured and less perfect. Make them a little bit more messy and crazy. Then using a clean brush, I'm going to apply a little bit of highlight under my eyebrow and in the inner corner of my eye and kind of blend that into the pink. Now for Harley's eyeliner, I just took my same eyeliner I've been using this whole time and drew a line across my upper lid and then drew a line below my bottom waterline and connected those with a kind of tiny wing. I didn't worry too much about this being perfect because we're going to come back and smudge it later. However, if you want a really beautiful Harley look, you can definitely go for a big, beautiful, sharp wing right here, and that would look gorgeous. But I decided to come back with a small brush and just smudge that out to create kind of the messy Harley look that we all know from the movie. Then I went in with some mascara and did my upper lashes and my lower lashes before grabbing some fake eyelashes and applying those to my top lashes. Now Harley has a little heart below her right eye, so I'm going to draw that in. Again, this would be easier if you have a friend do it, especially this next part, which is to write the word rotten in all caps along your right jawline. So this was difficult to get the letters written in the correct way instead of having them backwards because you are doing this in a mirror. So if you have a friend who can do this, that would be excellent, but you can definitely still do it yourself. Then you want to add little dots or lines to the edges of each letter to give it kind of that fancy letter effect. Now for Harley's lips, I went in with a bright red liquid lipstick. And then using one of my fingers, make sure it's a clean finger, I smudged it out in two areas. Now on to painting the costumes on. This is the body paint I'm using. However, this paint never ever dries. It remains wet all the time, which is why I had a lot of issues with smudging, because I did this before I did my hair, and then I ended up having paint smudged all over the place. But learn from my mistakes, people. So first things first, I mixed this gold with brown and then used it to draw the base of Harley's choker necklace. Then mixing the gold with the yellow now, I went in and drew out the P-U-D and then part of another D of the word puddin', which is on her necklace. I applied some shadow using some black and a small brush, and then I smudged it out using a makeup wipe to create a more natural shadow effect. Then still using black, I mixed it in with a little bit of that brown color from before, and then went back in on the brown part of her choker and made it a little bit darker so that the letters popped out more. Then with some white paint, I added some highlight to those letters to make them look a little bit more metallic. Using some of the red paint, I traced the outline of the top of Harley's shirt. I didn't worry about anything under the red part of her shirt because none of that will be seen. And then again, I went in with some black to create some shadows and dimension in her shirt. And then smudged those out to look more natural. Now on to the Joker side of things. I'm just going to draw his tattoos, which are a deck of cards right on his shoulder and neck area, and then a scripty quote that says all in, as well as a lot of ha-has written right below that. So I'm going to definitely recommend that if you do this and you use this paint in particular that never dries, that you wait until the very end to paint on these clothes, because they looked really good to begin with, and then by the end I had moved my shoulders a lot to work on my hair, and then they had just smudged everywhere, and it was kind of impossible to clean up and make them look as good as they once did after they had smudged and gotten paint everywhere, which is sad, but you live and you learn. Learn from my mistakes, people. Then on to hair. On Harley's side, I'm just going to put that part of my hair up into a high ponytail and leave out one strand in the front. And on the Joker side, I'm going to separate it into the top and the side portion. The side portion I'm going to pin straight backwards. Then the top portion I'm going to drape over and pin back as well. Then I grabbed some old extensions that I don't really use anymore and wrapped 2 of those around my Harley ponytail to make my hair look longer. So I got these hair markers from Amazon. They wash out with shampoo, so they are great to use, and they came out very easily. I will link them for you below. And I took the pink one and just colored about halfway up those extensions for my Harley side of things. Then on to the Joker, I grabbed the green marker and then just did the same thing, colored in as much of my hair as I possibly could with that green marker. So I was very determined to have the Joker's laughing smile on my hand like he does in the movie. So I did paint those on using the same body paints from before. I'm going to show you this process in stages instead of the whole video because I couldn't figure out how to film myself painting my hand. So anyway, you can definitely get temporary tattoos that match his tattoos, and I recommend doing that if you're going to do this Joker look for real. However, if you are like me and plan things very last minute, you may not have time to get them in. So you get what you get. Now I just need to do some tidying up because as you can see that body paint got everywhere. So I just used a makeup wipe to clean it up. Learn from me, guys. Do your body paint at the very end so it doesn't smudge everywhere and make you sad. Anyway, that's the whole look. Let's wrap this thing up. Alright, jokers. See you next time.